And our business and activities have not been optimal this week as commercial bus drivers in Lagos State, under the aegis of the Joint Drivers Welfare Association of Nigeria, commenced a 7-day strike after its meeting with the Lagos State government ended in a deadlock. Consequently, school children, civil servants, business owners and other commuters have trekked for hours to get to their destinations, and also other transporters, commercial tricycles known as Keke Marwa and minibuses took advantage of the strike and hiked transport fares by almost 100%. While the aggrieved transporters urged the state government to stop extortion of their members at bus stops by popularly called agberos, although not many drivers have adhered to this, with many going on about their businesses. Well, let's take a look at this development now and the impact of these on economic activities in Lagos vis-a-vis an assessment of the Lagos State transport system. Thank you, Mr. Omobude, for joining us. Mr. Omobude Martins is an economist. He joins us to look at this now. Can you hear me? Thank you for joining us.
Okay, yes, thank you.
All right. I mean, you've been following this development in Lagos since it started, this strike started. What's your position on this issue with regards to what the drivers are asking? Hello, can you hear me, Mr. Mambode?
I am trying to hear you. I'm not getting you very well.
Okay, I'm asking you to give us your position on this development in Lagos, where the commercial drivers, started a strike over extortion.
The toll fee situation.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hardly hear you.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now? I was asking you to give us your position on the development.
Okay, you're referring to the toll fee in Lagos that snowball into a similar unrest.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. I can hear you.
Yes, like everybody's opinion on that issue is that is an issue that should have been contained by the state government before it snowballed into something that became an unrest in some part of Lagos. Because if you look at it critically, you would discover that the reaction of those marketers were the fact that they are discouraging patronage.
Okay, Mr. Mabode. Yeah, we have to quickly take a break so that we can fix this connection. We'll take a break now. Please just stay on. We'll take a break now. We're back in a moment. Please stay with us. All right, we're finally back. Mr. Martin Somobode, an economist, is still with us here. Thank you for your time. Well, I was asking about your reactions. The fact that the Joint Drivers Association, meetings with the Lagos State government ended in deadlock. I was asking about your position to that. But first, let's establish the root cause of this challenge, this problem of extortion.
Well, we see corruption begat corruption, and it's like a monster that if not tackled when it's trying to spring up, if it springs up eventually, it will become like the snake that was not killed in Genesis that became a dragon in the Revelation. Extortion has been a problem in this country, and then commercialization of even some government activities, which all put together is just to inconvenience Nigerians. I think that is what is happening at this point in Lagos. It's unfortunate that they could not reach a compromise, because the people who they are extorting money from did not see a reason to compromise certain stands, because they are paying certain amount of money and they ought not to pay. Now, if you make something realistic and affordable for every citizen, I don't think there will be some of these problems that they have in Lagos presently. So, if you look at it very well, you will find out that it's because of government also a kind of encouraging corruption in a way, because government has the right, the responsibility, the powers, and the machinery to put a stop into everything that is anti-people. So the government of Lagos cannot tell Nigerians that they cannot stop the issue of scouting and toggling Lagos, especially at the level of the national union. But it's unfortunate that the government of themselves have become handicapped because they use these same thugs and this national union of road transport workers during election in order to achieve their purposes and all of that. And that's why we are where we are today. So
let's look at
government ineptitude to handle the issues which have become a problem in our nation.
How do we address this issue going forward? Again, I would also like to take your position or have your assessment of the Lagos State transport system. How should the transport system be structured? What kind of structure do we need to have in a state as Lagos, where it's the fourth economy in Africa? The first largest economy in Africa, as it were. How can we create or establish a functional transport system that can benefit the state and again not become a burden to commuters or motorists as well?
Yes, this is the issue. If you look at the DRC, for instance, which was created under Fashola's administration or regime, it was part of the agenda in order to address transportation issues in Lagos, which at least the subsequent government improved upon and all of that. But the issue again is that an effective transport system that will be managed solely by the government can be visible at this point in time in our nation's history, when we know as a matter of fact that the government of the day also generates a lot of money from these transporters, private transporters, or from these commercial motorists who are being controlled by touts and hoodlums. So if government is able to put an administration in place to manage the transport system in Lagos, it will solve some of this problem. But it's very difficult because the government is also part of the people in Lagos, or the government is the one that is encouraging indirectly the kind of menace we're having in Lagos when it comes to the commercial motorists and then the government transport system. So ultimately the government should be in charge of everything. The government cannot tell us as a people that if they want an effective transport system, by removing those towns, it's job for the boys. And so let government manage everything. Let us put you as park managers and say give account to government. This is what sincerely that you are going to charge the people per ticket, and once you do that in a day, that ends. I think that is the beginning of the end of this particular problem that we have right now. But if the government is able to come out boldly, have the willpower to say, okay, despite job for the boys or those people who have used as thugs during elections and people who use to achieve certain purposes, we want a better system. Let it be managed this way, that government is imposing a particular fine of 200 naira, 500 naira per commercial vehicle per day from one route to the other, and that ends it. No further instructions. I think we'll be getting there.
Maybe we should talk about the kind of regulation as well. But again, maybe we have not even considered the business side of transportation in Nigeria, because Lagos State as it is, transport is huge. An individual makes money just by plying a particular route as well. How much are we losing as a state or as a nation, the fact that we don't have an effective functional transport system that is well regulated?
We are losing a lot of money into the hands of certain individuals, and this money also, these individuals are also being motivated, supported, and given back by the same government. You see, until we come to a point where we become realistic as a people, or as government, or as managers of economy, we will still keep having this kind of problem. Now, the same government will empower certain people, will give them back, will give them state backing, and they will be committing all kinds of atrocities. Now, if the government wants this thing to work, like I said, that the government needs to do, one, is to put an effective transport system that is managed by certain people in with all sense of transparency. That if you are able to take this ticket for a day from one route to the other, that covers the day. But you will see along the line, this same set of commercial vehicles, while they are going, you see a lot of things going on. They remove their wiper, break their glass, break their windscreen with impunity because they have certain backup. And by the time police get involved, at the end of the day, some people go unpunished or justice. They don't get, the owner of some of those commercial vehicles does not get justice. So it's a system that is being managed by touts. And the touts is also being encouraged by the government indirectly. And that is why we're where we are.
Let's try to wind it down now. In other climes, you have the transport system contributing majorly to the overall GDP, but here it looks like we have a different case at hand. Maybe it is time to begin to look the way of bringing private investors into the conversation as well. Hello, Mr. Martin, can you hear me?
I can get that one very well.
Yeah. So I was saying that maybe it's time to bring in private practitioners into the conversation as well. If they have to come in, where do you think they can come in to start, functioning in this particular? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Martins? Okay. No. I'm talking about encouraging investment, private investment, because in other climes, transportation is huge and you have a huge contribution to the overall GDP, but it looks like it's different in this part of the world. So I'm asking, when is it right for us to begin to talk about bringing private investors into the conversation?
No, the transport system is open to investors, not private investors and all of that. But the economy and the system itself is not going to attract foreign investors. For instance, if we cannot take care of the issue of insecurity, there's no way a foreign investor will be ready to invest in such a country or such a community. Now, if you are saying that we are going to bring a foreign investor, at the end of the day, he knows that his investment is not safe. He knows that eventually, if one of the towns breaks his vehicle or something happens, the government will even support, and the cost system is also being directly influenced by the same government. So no meaningful investor, no sensible investor will come to a community or a place to invest in a particular sector that he will not make profit from. And especially if we have not been able to work on our judicial system, make our laws effective, without even bringing in selective justice. That if a particular person, I'm being careful not to mention the name of a person who is stronger than the government in Lagos, and they do all kinds of things that they like in Lagos, and when you even try to bring in the commissioner of police will also be handicapped, because sometimes some of these people, they have to
let's wrap it up now.
So no meaningful investor will want to come to such a place, and that's the problem.
Okay, I think we have to leave it there. Thank you, Martin Somobode is an economist. Thank you for talking to us on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.